Welcome to The Old World Lives, a Warhammer Fantasy Battles podcast. You can find us on Facebook at The Old World Lives, on Instagram at The Old World Lives, and you can reach us by email at theoldworldlives@gmail.com. And now, on to the episode.
Beware the first segment, my son. The bits that clack, the host with plague. Beware the hobby noise and shun, the frumious blasphemous snatch.
Hello and welcome to The Old World Lives. This will be an episode where we don't really have a main topic. We just talk about fantasy in general and what we're up to. And with me tonight I have Jimmy
Hello, everyone.
and Jens.
Hello.
Jens is a crow today.
Yeah, I've done some voice modifications.
Have you been doing servitor stuff?
Maybe. Don't tell the Inquisition.
What's the servitor?
It's one of those science fiction things, you know?
All right. So I think the first thing we should talk about to get it over with is the thing that the entire Warhammer Fantasy world is talking about right now. And that's
Yeah.
the announcement from Games Workshop. So it's basically just a picture saying everything comes around, including squares. And it's a picture of like a 20 millimeter square base.
Yeah.
What could it mean?
But what does
What
it
do you
mean?
guys think?
Well,
I think they're just going to sell basic square bases for people who
Yeah.
want them.
that's my guess too, but I do hope there's like gonna be something else. I mean, come on. There's a big, huge crowd out there who still wants the old world to live.
You selling the bases seems weird because like they actually stopped selling them last year. Like I
Yeah.
bought some bases last year, and then
Yeah,
it
they
was
haven't
like,
been out of production for that long to
Yeah.
make it like
and
that this should be a big comeback for just square bases. But
Yeah.
being a cynical, jaded person, I'm not getting my hopes up. It's just like if I can get square bases from GW, okay, fine. I'm happy about that. Everything else just a bonus.
yeah, it just seems that weird that they would make like a big announcement with just
Yeah.
putting those back in stock. They would just like do it quietly the other way around if they want us to start selling them again. Because this is like they're drawing a lot of attention to themselves, saying like, "Oh, we're doing something square again," or I don't know.
Yeah,
Seems
maybe
weird.
they're just gauging the reaction it gets. Maybe they're just re-releasing the square bases now and seeing how well that does and see what people say about it, and then they're gonna release some stuff after that. Maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Or they're gonna do a true 9th edition.
Who knows? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
like recently with Games Workshop, they've been releasing a lot of old games, and I mean, Fantasy is like the biggest of their old games.
Yeah, it was started like their whole thing.
Yeah, but also like if they would bring back something with Fantasy, or just bring back Square Bases, it seems like they're kind of admitting that Age of Sigmar was not the best idea or something. I don't know.
Haven't they
That's why-
already like said that? Well, maybe Age of Sigmar is a pretty good idea, but the way they handled it back then was not optimal.
No.
They haven't gone out and say that. I don't
Yeah.
know. I just heard that somewhere that they've been at least acknowledging that it might have not been handled in the best of ways.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting for sure. It's coming out tomorrow, and I don't know when this is releasing. So by then you'll already know, and just laugh at us for not knowing.
We would look like
Yeah.
fools.
But interesting for sure, and it's just
Oh,
been
yeah.
fun seeing like 5 posts in every fantasy Facebook group that I'm
Yeah.
part of. Have you guys seen this? And then 3 more.
Yes, we have.
All right. So what are you guys up to in the world of fantasy?
Let's
Painting
start with
night
Jens.
goblins. Yeah, painting night goblins and orcs and everything green.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah, I've
So-
been painting up. I've got 14 of the guys done. I'm working on how many more of these? 7 more now. Just doing contrast
are you-
paints and stuff.
Are you just painting for pleasure, or are you working towards a list or towards a
Uh,
game
I-
you're playing?
I'm working out of guilt because I've done so much working goblin stuff, and it's just lying there unpainted. And if I want to buy more, I should at least paint some of the stuff. And I've actually
Smart.
managed to keep to. I painted 1 unit of orc boys, and if I do a unit of night goblins, I've done 2 core units without doing any characters or special units or stuff like that. So if I can keep that up and just do the boring block painting mass rank units first, and then treat myself with
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
Cool.
that's a really good idea because that's how I did my army.
It's
Go
very
with the plebs
wholesome.
first. Go with the plebs first, then you paint
Yeah.
more plebs.
Yeah,
And
usually it's
more.
like now I've painted 2 rank and file guys. Maybe I should treat myself. But I'm trying to keep this up as long as I can. I can promise nothing.
We'll be rooting for you.
Yeah, but that's all I've been doing fantasy-wise. I've been buying a lot of Orcs and Goblin stuff, lots of old Savage Orcs, a Giant, and some stuff.
Genius. So you had like some Orcs and Goblins laying around, and you're like, "Oh, I better paint these." And
Yeah.
now that I'm painting them, I might as well buy some more.
Yeah,
So-
that's
I like
how
this
I,
logic.
how I
Perfect.
treat myself.
Perfect, never-ending cycle.
Yeah, as long as I keep painting these guys, I can buy more without
Yeah.
having
So
to
sorry.
buy them all.
I didn't buy any models today. Let's treat myself by buying some tomorrow.
Yeah, let's
That's
buy
me.
twice as many tomorrow.
Yeah.
So are you working towards some army idea or a list, or are you just
Yeah,
buying
I've
models
got
too?
a roughly 2,000 point list in my head ish. I've got 2 rare units. I've got like 2 special units and a lot of core units and some characters. So I'm just gonna whip out what I have, and it's little bit of everything: some savage orcs, some regular orcs, some night goblins, squig herd, chariots, giant, and a few trolls.
Nice. Just
Nice.
all the fun stuff.
Yeah. I wanted to do a like savage orc. I'm gonna have a big unit of like 35 savage orcs.
Damn.
Yeah, and
35. Holy shit.
yeah, and the sculpts are pretty fun, but it's only like 4 or 5 sculpts, so I'm gonna have to try and get creative.
I mean,
Paint them tactically.
yeah.
I've done 3 like test models just to see how fast I can do a single guy, and then I painted 2 at once, and I'm gonna do 3 at once, and then I'm just gonna try and escalate it until I come to the command models, and I'm gonna try and take my time with those guys.
Yeah,
Three-
try. Yeah.
3
go
at
first.
once. I always paint 20 at once. Always.
I know, but you are a crazy person. You got that dwarven artisan. You just sit down and
Stubbornness.
yeah. I don't
Yeah.
care if my hands bleed. I'm gonna paint 20 more guys. Otherwise, my
Yeah.
ancestors will disown me.
Jens, regarding when you're painting your savage orcs, how are you gonna do the animal skins?
I'm gonna try and do like exotic animal skins on the big guys. Some of the guys have like the standard bear has a boar
Yeah.
pelt on him, so that's not very fun. That's just gonna be boar. But
Yeah.
the
Boring.
champion's got, but the champion's got like a leopard or something as a cloak, so that would be fun to paint. And then we're gonna do some tiger skins, some lion stuff. I don't know. Exotic animals.
They've just been to the Altdorf Zoo.
Yeah, just like I'm gonna wear you. Get in my belly. But I haven't decided how to do the bases yet. I'm thinking I'm gonna do some Badlands Wasteland.
Yeah,
we'll
that's
see.
just what I was thinking. That would be great.
Yeah. I wanted to do them like an invasion of Averland, because I'm doing some Averlanders for my Empire army. But I don't know. I just got carried away with the Savage Orcs, and I don't think they fit in the like Averland stuff. I'm thinking they might just be some guys who hangs out in the Badlands doing crazy stuff, fighting other orcs, maybe some dwarfs.
Yeah, Badlands Orcs. That's great. It's a home turf.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna do the giant. It's gonna be a fun break to not paint green, and the trolls as well. I'm painting them in like a black grayish color. It's the old stone trolls I got from Jimmy.
Yeah.
I love the stone trolls you made, Jimmy. They're also like darker gray. It's awesome color scheme.
Yeah, they're my favorite trolls with the dick noses. I always go for the very phallic miniatures. It's griffin balls and dick nose trolls.
It's great.
But that's what I've been up to. What have you guys been doing?
Well, I've been building a lot of, well, not a lot, but some dwarf treasure hunters for Mordheim for my younger brother.
Yeah, they look
and I've
amazing.
been kit bashing like hell. So
as you do.
Yeah, as I always do. And I'm, as we're recording, I'm currently building my last model for Warband. And the Warband consists of 7 dwarfs. Ooh, I wonder what kind of story this is gonna be. My brother had some requests about me building these guys, and he wanted them to be very inspired by Bardin Gorikson from Vermintide and Vermintide 2 specifically. So 3 of the heroes are very based on his 3 careers in the game. So the leader is a Ironbreaker. and I used the Ironbreaker model for this conversion. Shortened his beard because they have very long beards, and the dwarf treasure hunters are supposed to be like some of the younger ones, not beardlings, but not
Yeah, no,
along with
no
the
self-respecting
veterans.
old dwarf would go to Mordheim. Only a
No,
crazy
well,
young.
there's gonna be one of them in the warband. And yeah, so we shortened his beard. We didn't use any of the dwarf hammers because all the hammerheads are really big.
Yeah, they are
So
a
yeah,
bit over the
so
top.
so I looked through some bits from a trade with Chris, and on one of the banner tops from the hammer models, there's a small hammer head where it's like two hammers crossing above the standard, and I was like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
these might look really good on a model, and so it did. I will post models. I will post these models eventually on our Instagram. Then we have the two of the Slayers. One is converted from the plastic Slayer character, which is
Don't you
now
mean the White
the
Dwarf?
White Dwarf. Yeah, super big.
Oh, it's the lamest thing they've ever made for
Yeah.
dwarves.
Yeah, it's like I didn't use his head at all. It's like I took one of the bald heads from the Ironbreaker kit and sculpted my own beard. Used some of his original hair and sculpted the rest. And I gave him smaller axes. There's some artwork in the dwarf army books, and in everyone where they hold an axe, the shaft looks really short and the axe head is really big. So I went for this when I converted the models. Also a shout out to Eastern Empire Work in Progress on Instagram, because his dwarf adventure is actually what started this whole project, because my brother saw his conversion on there. So I'm gonna add that model to, well, add a link or something to it, so our viewers
Yeah.
can check him out.
Yeah, go check out his
Right.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Eastern Empire is awesome.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's like the Goblin King.
Oh yeah, they are some
His
sexy
goblin
goblins.
his goblin army is like every single model is an individual converted. So yeah.
Yeah, it's as insane as Jimmy is gonna be soon,
Yeah.
very soon.
Yeah, very soon. Yeah, and we kind of copied off his dwarf ranger conversion for one of the clansmen for this warband. And the second slayer is made from the plastic Gotrek, and I gave him another beard, a new haircut, and I'm currently giving him a new two-handed axe, which is holding up in the air. And then we have my the two thunderers. One of them looks like a hobo with a crossbow. Yeah. You'll know what I talk about when you see him. Which is also inspired by Bardin from Vermintide. And then we have actually the engineer, which I kind of forgot. He has the looks like Bardin has when he's a ranger in the game. And then there's my current favorite of the warband, the Longbeard.
The grumpy old guy.
Yeah, the grumpy old guy. I was inspired by a combination of the old 6th edition Longbeards and the Bugman's Rangers models. So he's like a combination of those. He's leaning on his two-handed axe and waving his fist in the air grumpily. And I sculpted a hood for him, sculpted new boots. He is based on one of the plastic hammerers, and I used the new Gotrek Gurnison head on him. So his beard is long and it's waving in the wind. And if it didn't wave in the wind, it would surely reach the ground. So he is fit to be a Longbeard.
Yeah, so that like you've been doing a lot of more, and then you started doing some Middenheim. Got
Yeah.
super into Middenheim, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, finally Jimmy's gonna
start
switch
soon.
gear and just like make an army in 2 weeks, and then start doing Mordheim again. It's like, oh
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Well, I'm not complaining really, because you're doing like an awesome dwarf warband.
Thanks.
But
yeah.
when are you doing Middenheim?
I'm actually gluing Middenheim models. I'm trying to decide what to arm my state troopers with. I've glued the torsos and the legs together but I haven't chosen if I want them to be armed with halberds or with swords and shields.
Yeah, those are
Ooh.
the two options.
Yeah.
I would also choose for midnight.
Yeah. Also, I kind of really need to make an army list before I dig deep into that project.
Yeah,
I have a lot of things for them, and I really need to settle down, write a list, then I know what to paint first.
So in the Middenheim army list, do they
Yeah.
still have detachments?
Yes, they do.
Well, maybe do both then. Do some swordsman and halberdier. Have like a halberdier detachment to swordsman. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm actually waiting for a Swedish eBay auction to end, where I'm bidding on another box of State Troopers 6th
Yes.
edition. I'm also actually bidding on a box of Slayers.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Like a 10-man box?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, many projects. Like, it's so hard, damn game. All the armies are good. Like, you start thinking
Yeah.
about an army and like, nah, probably not. And then the next day you're like, yes, I'm doing this.
I'm doing that.
Yeah,
We're so easily corrupted by our ideas.
yeah. I blame this game. Like, this game, more than any other, has got such like diverse factions. Like, all the factions are their own thing, and they look and play totally different from each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta do some Middenheim talk soon as well.
Yeah, we do.
We've been requested by Middenheimer on Instagram.
Yes, and we shall not leave him wanting.
Yeah, because we've been chatting a lot about like Middenheim and the Middenheim list.
Yeah.
You're trying to decide if you're doing that list or the regular Empire one.
Yeah, I will do a Middenheimer list first. Then I will add units so I can play them as a normal army list.
Yes. Yeah, the Middenheim list is definitely where my vote goes. It's so awesome.
Yeah. I really need to decide if I want to use great swords or the amazing Teutogen Guard. I really want to use both units, but that's going to be expensive in a list.
Yeah.
You can always make the list bigger.
That's not untrue.
I love how Jens just came as our inner voice there.
That's what I usually do. Is like, I can't fit 3 rare choices in a 2,000 points army, but if I make it 3,000 points,
Yeah. All right. Anything else you've been up to, Jimmy? You got some play dates planned in?
Yeah, I have a play date next weekend. A guy is coming up to visit me, and I'm pulling some of my usual players together, and we're gonna have a small campaign that weekend. Nothing big, nothing fancy. It's like just gonna hang out, play a lot of Mordheim, have a lot of fun for 2 days.
Nice. Sounds awesome.
There will, of course, be pictures.
Good.
Maybe a live feed. We'll see.
Yeah. You had a live feed when you guys were playing last time.
Yeah.
It's really fun to watch.
Have you started to play any Mordheim yet, Niklas?
No. So I actually got in touch with a Mordheim group here in London, and then they were gonna start a campaign. Then I got added to this WhatsApp group, and then I kind of drowned in all the messages. So like, I don't know, 20, 30 people in there, and everyone's writing stuff. And at the same time, I got sick, and then I binged Vikings. And then when I got well enough, I started painting dwarfs, because I'm going to this tournament that's in just a few days. And I was considering, like, first I was thinking I should bring my dwarfs and just paint my dwarfs up till then, because it was a while ago they was announced. And then it started to get closer, and I was like, oh yeah, I still have time. And then it kind of got to that point, like, do I really have time? Should I just play Kislev instead? And I was like, no, if you buckle down now, then you can still make it. I was like, oh shit, well, I better get going then. So then when I was recovering from my sickness, when I was still at home, I was just painting all day long, nonstop, these blocks of 20. So I'm still painting now. I'm painting the last 20-man unit of Longbeards, and in total I have painted like 100 dwarves in, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like
2 or 3 months.
You've been spitting out dwarfs constantly,
and they've been looking good.
Oh yeah, some nice oldies, old models, and you play with them from like the War of the Beard themed list. So
Yeah, just warriors of a forgotten age, just axes and stones.
Yeah.
It's a really fun theme to build army around. Just the dwarvy things that I want. Like you want guys fighting with axes. That's like
None of that newfangled engineering stuff.
no, you don't want to just stand back and shoot shit with gunpowder and then have gunpowder polluting the air. And you want to have that nice mountain air.
And it makes your beard smell.
Yeah, exactly. Can't have that dust in your beard. So yeah, I've been painting these in like a gold because when I was planning out my dwarf project and I was thinking like, should I use old models? Should I use new models? Should I use third-party models? And started planning this out like late last year. And then I decided to use my old dwarf models, which I had like a classic childhood collection where you had like 12 longbeards, 13 ironbreakers, 5 miners, ranger command, 1 bolt thrower, stuff like that. Just nothing really fits together as an army. So I decided to use the base that I had and just get models to complement that. So then I just got new models and made a 2,000 point army. And in I don't know March or something, I like got all my old models, put them in alcohol, scrubbed them clean, which is the worst part of the hobby to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is
I
not
agree.
fun.
I agree. Because like last month, I did the same with a Hellblaster that I got from Jens, and that was horrible.
Yeah, I've got the. I didn't paint that Hellblaster, so I'm innocent.
No.
But I got
But
the Savage Orcs that I've got. Like
yeah.
2/3 of them go through. If I put them in alcohol and scrub them, they come out pretty nice. But then there's some of them that look like they're like older pewter stuff, and the paint sticks to them very, very fiercely. So I've just like given up on them. I'm just gonna try and spray over it and see if it shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna be in the back, but it's like 1 in 3 is like impossible to get the paint off.
Yeah. So when I did this, I just did like the entire army in over 1 weekend. It was terrible. But I'm glad I did it. And then I just mounted them all and sprayed them all and just had them ready to paint. So now that when I've been painting, I've just been picking out like an entire regiment from this box that I have them in, just standing up and then just get on with it. So it's been fairly straightforward just painting them now. That's been nice. Oh yeah, and the gold I'm using is this Vallejo liquid copper. It's just like a really weird pot of paint that I got from this game store that, I don't know, they had dropped it or something. But I really like it. It's like alcohol based as well, so it'll fuck up your brush. But man, it's worth it.
It's very fitting for a dwarf army then.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, so this tournament that I'm going to, it's here in England. It's 2,000 points called Reign of Chaos. And it's a 2,000 point tournament, 3 games on a Sunday in 3 days. And yeah, there are no real restrictions, I think. It's just like no named characters, as most tournaments are. That's why I can't really play Kislev as well, because I would have to use the Tsarina 2,000 points, because I don't have any other lords. And there are 3 games, and there are different missions each game. So the first one will be an 8th edition scenario, actually. That's about capturing banners. So you have like breakpoints. I think you have like 2,000 points. Your breakpoint is 2, and then you have like points for 1 for each banner and 2 for your general. And then, so if I have 5 banners and a general, I have 7 points. And if the enemy kills 5 banners and then I'm down to 2, then I would lose. So they're using this mission, but instead of just auto losing, you lose another 500 points at the end of the game. So that's really interesting. It's gonna be fun. Play a new scenario. And then the second scenario is capture. Just get the middle of the board. But same there. Instead of just auto winning, you get another 500 points for holding the objective at the end of the game. So it's not like straight win or loss. So that's pretty cool. Because it can be like a game in a capture mission, but then you don't hold objective and then you lose automatically. Yeah. And the list that I'm bringing is my master engineer, Harald Hammar, and 2 runesmiths, 2 unit of warriors, 19 strong each, full command, 20-man unit of ironbreakers, full command, 20 unit of miners, also full command. It's a big beefy unit of miners coming on from the side of the board. 10 rangers, also full command. I was a bit hesitant of using a banner with rangers, but I think it will be fine. And then I got 2 catapults and 2 bolt throwers.
That is solid.
When miners enter the board, how do they enter?
When they have pursued an enemy off the board.
So is it like you first place them with their back at the end of the table, or do they walk in from the end?
You put them with their back against the back of the table, and then they get to walk.
You can like do a conga line.
Yeah. So technically, they pursuing units come onto the board in the same formation that they pursued the enemy off the board. If you're coming on from the beginning, then I guess you would have to pick like before the battle begins how you deploy them. So yes, if you want to, you could put them like as a 20-man long single column. You just have like a huge line stretching across the table.
March block.
Yeah, and then they will get charged in the side and die.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the things that are really stupid, and we really need to have one of these stupid tactica sometime, because we've been discussing about a night goblin tactic. Yeah. And Niklas has been playing around with the zombie terror fan.
Yeah, because I was thinking like if you could do something this stupid, you could put a conga line of zombies like you did with the night goblins that Jimmy's been thinking about.
Yeah, let's talk about how that thing works. So this is a very stupid tactic for releasing fanatics in turn 1. This is fully legal, but it's really stupid. So first you take like 23 or 25 night goblins, preferably with bows. So the opponent doesn't think you're stupid for placing all your goblins in a single line. So the first turn, they turn left. That takes about 1/4 of their movement, so they have 3 inches left. The unit is 1 guy wide and 23 guys deep. And then they make a wheel, which makes the back models wheel up to the enemy front line, because the wheeling model moves towards the player's table edge. And this is how you can release goblins with their fanatics in turn 1. It's really stupid because the guys in the back move across the table in their wheel. Yeah. And it counts as moving like 2 or 3 inches, because all models counts as having moved as far as the guys in the front.
Yeah, it's not only stupid because it's not great. It's also stupid because it just doesn't make fucking sense.
I mean, I wouldn't mind doing it at least once during my game career, but I don't want to do it because it's like it's a dick move. It's not a game-winning tactic, but it's still a dick move. It's like, this is stupid. You don't do this.
It's just because it doesn't really make sense like in the game. It's not game like breaking, but it's like
it's immersion breaking.
Yeah, it's
so what you could do with this that I thought of is that you can do it with zombies, and then you can put like a battle standard bearer in there with the banner that gives terror, and then you could kind of do the same thing, but it'd be like a terror fan. So you just like swing this, and then everyone with 6 inches of the end of it would have to take a terror test, which is just really stupid. And then you could also grow the formation, like summoning zombies, and you just make it grow. And people will be terrified.
Yeah, and if it's like 40 zombies, they just won't die. Never.
Yeah, this is stupid. Yeah, that's all I can say about it. It's just like,
yeah, it's stupid.
Shouldn't be done.
Or should it?
Yeah,
Krell has to try it against my goblins, so I can do my thing against him.
He should get some guys to play 8th edition at his club, and just, hey, do you want to play 6th edition? This would be really fun. And then he does this thing like, oh yeah, by the way, in 6th edition you have to take terror test or flee. And now I am spinning around. I was just thinking with the like one wide formation. Snaking is a rule that is so unclear in this game that what is it? Tell me, what is snaking, Jens?
I don't have a fucking clue. Give me, you're the rules expert.
I have no idea what snaking is. It's like I do know what it is, but it's like, what the hell does it do?
Yes, it's just so unclear. So it's like if you're in a formation of one model wide, then the front guy can move with the other guys trailing behind, and that's pretty much what it says in the rulebook. And then there's no explanation for it.
We have to ask Tuma sometime.
Yeah, but I read the 5th edition rulebook as well, and then it says basically the exact same thing. But then there's also like a picture of a unit that has like a model with some other models trailing behind. But it's like very unclear. Like, do they just suddenly become skirmishers? And would anyone ever use this?
I've never seen it, so
I think like if you're playing a game with like more time amount of scenery and you have to get between buildings, because it's kind of thinking about it when we were playing our siege battle, Jimmy.
Yeah,
maybe then could use it. I don't know. It's very strange. But then I was thinking like, do you like voluntarily form a snaking unit, or would it happen automatically? And in that case, when you would swing your goblins, it would just be like a floppy stick instead of a rigid stick.
Floppy goblin snake. Yeah. What's your take? Write into the Old World Lives and tell us how the fuck is this supposed to work?
Yeah, I like relearning 6th edition though. Because I like that the 6th edition book is a lot of fun to read, but it's so hard to just find like the specific rules or specific answers to like rule questions. So you just kind of have to do what makes sense, which in the end I think is better than have like super clear, like harsh rules. But sometimes it's just like, what?
Who went
what
away?
am I supposed to do? Yeah.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Yeah. I just got so excited talking about rules.
So you have to shut down, scream a bit, and then come back.
Have I talked about the 7th edition extra attack rule on here?
No.
That in the 7th edition rulebook, if you have an extra hand weapon, you get the special rule extra attack, and then you have to go look in the rulebook. What is the special rule extra attack? And then it says, this gives you +1 attack. Oh wow! Thank you, 7th edition rulebook.
Why did it have to be? Isn't it the same in the 8th edition?
I don't know. I haven't looked that far, but
it's like,
I mean, just say that an extra hand weapon gives you an extra attack and be done with it. How much clearer do you need to be?
Yeah, that's like their first attempt at like universal special rules, because there were special rules in 6th edition, but it's not that many, and they didn't really give it to a lot of units. And then they just made more and more of it in 40k as well.
Yeah.
But then people kind of exploited the special rules, that you transfer the special rules from one thing to another, and now they have just, what's it called, like keywords?
Yeah, something like that.
So you have to have like...
It's a good game mechanic, but it's still a lot of reading and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh yeah, so I had 3 test games with this army a couple of weekends ago at a friend's place. He played Empire, and I played this 2,000 point dwarf army. I brought shame upon myself, and I brought an unpainted regiment, the regiment that I'm painting right now.
Boo!
Yeah, I know, I am ashamed. But it's nice.
You should shave your head.
Dye it orange.
Grow a beard.
I'm trying desperately. So we played 3 games, just 2 pitch battles and a capture. He played Empire. He had a Griffin, a cannon, pistoliers, 2 units of knights, a bunch of dudes with halberds and bows and crossbows and spears. Just rabble, classic Empire rabble. And it was nice playing dwarves. I haven't played dwarves since like 2006 maybe, so I thought it would be good to have some practice games before going into a 2,000 point tournament. And I really went in the deep end here, because like I barely played Kislev at 2,000 points, and now I'm playing 2,000 points with a brand new army.
Just like that.
Yeah. And
how did it feel?
Felt great. It's really nice playing dwarves. Very different from playing Kislev as well, because
you don't say.
Because it was like, yeah, you deploy your army, but you can move to the other side of the table instantly. Like you deploy your light cavalry, like just because they're deployed there doesn't mean that they're gonna stay there. They're just gonna right away first turn and be somewhere completely different, and then the enemy would have to react to it. But dwarves is like you deploy, and that's where you're staying the rest of the game. You're just gonna have to try and make the enemy come to you, or just advance slowly and try and capture some table quarters or something. So I try to make this army not too gunliney. I still wanted to be able to do something, but still have enough shooting to make the enemy come to me in a duel. And
you got the war machines and then the rangers, right?
yeah. So 2 bolt throwers, 2 stone throwers, and 10 rangers.
Yeah, I'd say that's not over the top at all. That's just enough to force someone to come to you in 2,000 points, but it's not too much.
Yeah. And I focus especially on war machines. So I don't have a lot of like close range shooting, like handguns and stuff like that. But like if I come up against a gun line, then I will have like long range superiority. So I can win a gun like a war machine duel, but I would not win like a shootout at close range against darkest and stuff like that. So my plan with this is, as I said, to win like a war machine duel. And the Empire player had a cannon. Maybe I had a mortar as well, actually, or maybe a hellblaster. I can't remember that game. But my plan was that if I have first turn, then I'm going to try and snipe his war machines first turn, and after that, I would have to focus on his mobile units like knights and stuff. So I got first turn, didn't really move much, and then on my first grudge thrower shot, I aimed at his cannon, and since my engineer was there, I got to guess twice. So it doesn't give any rerolls in this book; it just allows you to guess twice. So I guessed, and the first guess was way off, and the second guess was bang on his cannon. And then I rolled to scatter, and I scattered, but I've upgraded this stone thrower with Rune of Accuracy, so I get to reroll the scatter die. So I reroll it, and it was a hit, and then I had to wound. So a war machine is tough to 7, and stone thrower is strength 8, the small hole. But I've also upgraded it with Rune of Penetrating, so it's +1 strength. So I needed 2 to wound, and I rolled a 2. It's just
Nice.
perfect. And then it does d6 wounds, and I rolled a 4, destroying his cannon instantly. It's the money shot. Just so many upgrades and planning just went perfectly. And it never happens. Like when you're building an army, oh yeah, I have this plan of this perfect situation happening, and it actually does.
It is one single situation, and yeah.
Yeah. Just imagine like the cannon crew as well. Like, look at those dwarves still using stone throwers. What is this? The year 1565.
You Luddites.
You plebs.
Yeah, and then you smack their cannon instantly. And then in the second turn, his knights moved up. I kind of missed them with the stone throwers. Third turn, they moved around the flank, and this time I hit them straight on and kill like 4 knights of the inner circle, and the rest fled off the table.
Nice.
And his Empire general went up the other flank, chased off a unit of warriors, along with a unit of knights helping him.
Was it? I was gonna ask if it was by terror or by combat resolution.
Combat. Dwarves don't flee. Come on. Leadership 9, baby. Come at me all day. So he chased them off, so he kind of held that flank, and then my miners came on and charged his knights and won against his knights. So I got rid of both of his units of knights and his war machines, and then his infantry was just running up the middle, taking fire from my bolt throwers and taking fire from some stone throwers. And like making Empire troops take leadership tests is devastating in 6th edition.
Yeah, they are not that brave.
Yeah, leadership 7 everywhere.
Yeah.
So they were just running and then maybe rallying, but then they lost like a whole turn of moving forward, then moved forward, and then took another test and fled again. So they really need someone to hold their hand while advancing up the line.
Yeah. So was it mostly by panic tests? Yeah,
panic tests from War Machine Fire kind of did all of it.
Yeah, I hear that I need to use seneschals in the Middenheim list. They make the units they join immune to psychology.
Yeah. There you go.
If you don't have that, putting your general on a griffin and sending him down one flank, you need to have someone hold the other guy's hands while he does that. If you
Yeah.
put him on a griffin and keep him in the center, he can help a lot, but he won't do much fighting.
Yeah, I got an Empire book recently, and I've been thinking of maybe putting like a warrior priest in like the main advanced unit or something like that.
Sounds like a sound idea.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So leadership 8, so it's just one more, but still
Yeah.
better than 7.
Yeah.
Because when I play my Kislev as well, like they're leadership 7 and 8, but the ones that are leadership 8, I don't really worry about them breaking. But when they're leadership 7, like I always worry about them breaking for some reason, even though it's not that big of a difference.
Do you know how I feel when I roll my leadership 5?
Yeah, poor gobos. So yeah, that game ended in a minor victory for the dwarves.
Was it a minor victory?
It was a minor victory. Miners did all of it. Like they came up and saved one flank. So first I thought the miners, like maybe I should just do some like a 10-man unit for war machine hunting. But having like an entire unit of miners coming up and like ready for battle anywhere you want is really good.
And it looks amazing too.
Yeah, like I love those models. I just bought 20 because they're so good looking. So it didn't really matter how many can use. But just being able to come on to the flank that the enemy has decided to attack is just so useful. And they can't charge when they come in, but you can really prevent an enemy from charging somewhere.
Yeah, and a block of 20 with full command is a really scary prospect to face. You probably won't have your best ranked up combat units right on the flanks. The stuff you send down the flanks is usually like hard hitting glass cannon units, and I'm betting they don't want to face 20 angry minor dwarves.
Yeah, because they have like heavy armor and great weapons and the typical dwarvish stat lines.
Yeah, dangerous stuff.
Yeah, strength 5 and leadership 9, toughness 4. Yeah, they're good.
And weapon skill 4.
Yeah.
Yeah,
dwarf stat lines are really good. My war machines got charged several times, but by like skirmishing archer units, like 10 man strong or something. So I thought that they would lose actually, but they won every time.
Yeah, they are
Get
pretty
away from here.
decent. Get away from my stone thrower.
Yeah. So the second game we played was a capture mission. So I just put all my dwarf in the middle, and then he put all his empire in the middle pretty much, and just charged forward. He had first turn, so he just kind of moved up his cavalry and just stood on the objective from turn 1. And then everything engaged to the front as I wanted it to, but he had like 2 units for each of my units in combat, and he had just good buffs. He had like inner circle knights with a battle standard, and then he had like a really clever thing. He had like a big block of spearmen with the griffin banner, and then they had just a detachment of halberdiers. And the griffin banner gives you like double your rank combat resolution. So if you have 3 ranks, then instead of getting 3, you get 6 combat resolution. The downside is that they can't pursue an enemy, but their detachment can.
Yeah, that's a sneaky trick.
Yeah, so
that's a really good sneaky trick.
Yeah, thank you for teaching me.
Yeah, so like I did more wounds than him, like 2 more, and then like he said, "Oh yeah, I have the griffin standard," so I went by 3 or something, and then first time my dwarves held, but then the next round my dwarves broke and it got run down by attachment. And in the middle, my Ironbreakers lost against the Inner Circle Knights that were helped with something else. My Rangers did manage to like mow down an entire Pistolier unit, crossbows, which is pretty epic. But in the end, he held the middle and won that game. Yeah, so I think if I play capture, it really depends if I have the first turn or not, I think, because you really need to be there fast with dwarves. And the third game was another just pitch battle. I deployed more in a corner this time. The first battle I deployed kind of a straight line, but a bit further back. But now I castled up properly, and he sent a bunch of infantry in the middle, which is my left flank, and then to my right flank, along the table edge, he sent his 2 unit of knights just charging down. I deployed a bit further back so that he would have to make 3 moves to charge me across the table. And luckily, my miners showed up turn 2. So I advanced up the warriors in that flank and put the miners in front of him as well. So he had like his full unit of knights standing off against a block of dwarves each. And he was like, he's pretty happy because he had like 1 versus 1. But then I was kind of banking on my war machines to decimate the knights, and they sure did. Perfect hit with the stone throwers. Got like 3 knights out of each unit. So when they did charge, they had lost their outnumber and they had lost their rank bonus. So my dwarves just won against them. Both of them fled, and then the next turn, neither of them rallied and just fled off the board. So the humble dwarf secured the flank. And then his infantry is charging down the middle, took war machine fire the entire way. Like they advanced all the way up to like 6 inches away from my war machines, and my stone thrower was just firing point blank and just devastating them. And then they fled as well. It's just a classic defensive dwarf battle. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, it was 3 games. So hopefully I will have some experience for this tournament. Still only played 3 games total with my dwarves. It'll be a lot of fun.
Do you know how many participants there will be?
16, I think.
That is pretty good.
Yeah.
Then you get a good mix of armies as well.
Yeah. Like I am very spoiled living in England now because 6th edition is really big here. Like there's a lot of players everywhere. So yeah, you have an event now in November, and then we'll have another Albion event in January, and then I'm gonna host like a 1,000 point beginner event in February, and then there's another 2,000 point tournament in March. So it's just endless events right now.
So spoiled.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys need to get something going in Sweden. I saw actually that my old game club in Falun are hosting an 8th edition tournament.
Ooh, I've seen some people talking about doing some 6th edition stuff as well. So we'll see how it pans out.
Yeah, you guys need to at least plan another game day.
We should. Maybe if you get your Empire stuff painted and I get my
Work stuff.
Goblin, we
Yeah.
could have a massive battle. We'll get stuff done.
Yeah, we can. We sure can.
All right. Yeah, I'm pretty much done with my dwarf talk. I'm still painting the shields right now. Just got the runes left to paint on the shields, and then I need to do some gems on the soldiers. These old longbeards are so fancy. They just got like all the nicest equipment everywhere, gems on their weapons, gems on their armor. Crazy.
Do you know what I'm sculpting?
Gems?
No, but close. Slayer crotch.
Yeah, that is close. The family jewels.
No.
All right. Do we have anything?
Oh yeah, new stuff.
Is there new stuff?
Yeah, it's like it's new but old. It's the Chaos Warriors that showed off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's like I love them.
Yeah, they're perfect.
They're gonna be hard to rank up, but since they keep the old aesthetics but just lively poses on these new Chaos Warriors, you can mix, or you can build a unit with it's like small unit fillers.
Yeah.
Three guys on a 50 times 50 millimeter base. Not my kind of style, but I would accept it. So these guys.
Yeah, if you make it look cool, then it's okay. But it has to be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like well, you get 10 in that box, right? So you could use like 3 in a unit, and then you just have one of them as an aspiring champion or something, and you just put them like in the front rank. Perfect. I love them. Like the first thing in a long time coming out to Age of Sigmar is like, yes, hell yes, it's so good.
I was feeling like this when they showed off the Goblin releases, like all the new squigs and everything. Ooh.
Yeah, it's also pretty good.
And I feel it again. But also, there's new Chaos Knights, and these knights are pretty balls. Amazing.
Superb.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
they
a
look
lot of
pretty
detail
badass.
on them. Yeah, they look really badass. It's a lot of detail on them, which is gonna be hard to paint. But yes, like the models are still amazing. There's a lot going on them. But I hope they can rank up as well.
I mean
bigger.
The recent Chaos Knights are not easy to rank up in the first place, from what I've heard.
Also, they look ugly.
Yeah, they're
I like the old metal ones, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the 6th edition Chaos Knights, I have like 16 of those guys, and I love them. I will most likely field them in my own Chaos army, but these new knights would be perfect chosen Chaos Knights.
oh yeah, totally.
Yes.
yeah. Just waiting on Jimmy's 16th army project.
Yeah.
One day we will see them. One day.
I mean, it's like gonna be, it's gonna be easy to paint them. It's like it's kind of like how you paint Iron Hands in 30k.
Yeah, I'm not arguing. I do play Iron Hands in 30k.
I'm not gonna say it's easy to paint them, but it's easy to paint them.
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue. Like after painting like dwarves and Kislev now, like, it is like a different way of painting, different technique, but it does go faster than painting like 3 layers of every damn color that you're painting. So just to clarify, Jimmy, your future army projects include a Middenheim army, a Kurgan army, a Chaos, for those that didn't know, a Dwarf army, and
Have Bretonians in a box.
of course.
Yep. What's your
Uh,
shape?
What else? What else do you have?
What else do I have?
Orcs? You haven't
yeah,
finished your works yet?
I haven't finished them. There's a lot of orcs in a little box here. I should paint them, but yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the Middenheimers. You know,
Yeah, you just
painting
need
a lot of green this year.
just need the inspiration. Like once you get the inspiration,
Yeah,
and it's just
yes.
non-stop painting.
Yeah, it's like it's really how my Night Goblin project started. It was like first it was like, dude, this is not fun. But once you reach this point where it's like, yeah, I really want to do this. When you reach it, just grab onto it and follow it.
Yeah. And then you're just painting.
Yeah.
And then you realize like, shit, I should eat something.
Yeah.
And then you go and eat something. And then you're just like eating while standing, just looking at the painting desk. And then you're like, oh, what should I paint next? Which color? And then you sit down and just continue painting. It's the best.
Yeah, also I do have this crazy idea to either revisit my old Skaven army or start a new one.
Why not both?
Ooh. I found one of my old models here on the desk actually from a Skaven army, and I think Niklas likes them. It's not the rat swarm because I have maximized my rat swarm. So, Niklas, what do you think it is?
A rattling gun?
Yes!
Oh,
I have
God
2
damn.
more.
You always just
I
like
actually I actually painted up one like a month and a half ago. So I have 2 rattling guns now. Yay!
like when you hear that you're playing Skaven, you imagine like, oh, this is gonna be cool. Just endless rat swarms running towards me with low leadership. It's gonna be a good fight. What it actually ends up being is just like endless shooting, and you're like, wait, is this Empire I'm playing? It's like a hybrid Empire dwarf army. It's just
They're fast and they shoot.
Yeah, it's rattling guns and warp lightning, and you can't target them, and
And it just sails.
yeah, there are skirmishers for some
Yeah.
unexplainable
For
reason.
some, yeah, I know. It's like 360 around. What the hell?
Yeah, and
The-
-1 to hit them. It's
Yeah.
great. Yeah. Well, I think my dwarves will be better equipped to deal with the vermin than my Kislev at least.
Yeah, they will. But knowing my dice rolling, you're gonna die. I mean, like,
Well-
come on. You've seen me shoot with my rattling guns. It's like tremendous amount of hits.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Yeah.
And like whenever a crazy result happens, like you roll a double, it's
Yeah.
never really satisfying. Like nothing really
Nope.
dies in this game inside. Just like the miscast table though. I wish
Yeah.
the miscast table was more perilous.
Yeah, it was in 7th or 8th edition, I think. But who plays those editions anyway?
Yeah. Jens, do you play any 8th edition at all? Did he?
Yeah, I
He
was
does.
away for so long that my phone locked me out of Discord. Yeah, I did play some 8th edition, but it has been a while. But I think
But you're planning your Empire army for 8th edition or
Yeah,
pseudo
yeah.
8th/6th.
Yeah, I want to use some Griffin Knights.
They're
stuff
actually
like
cool
that.
models. I mean, if you really want to use Griffin Knights in 6th edition, you could use the oh god, there was some kind of
The
some kind of
ogres, the Rhinos
yes,
Riders.
yeah. Not I think they made 2 versions of them. One version was the forceful ones, and I think they made like generic ones that you could convert yourself.
Hmm.
I know Chris linked me some rules earlier, and I was like, yeah, it's like leadership 7, so they're not as brave as the normal knights, but they have like 3 wounds, strength 5, 3 attacks, they're heavy hitters.
Yeah, I'll look into that.
So, would you be interested in going to the tournament in Sweden?
I'm not committing to any tournaments or events until maybe late next year.
Hmm.
So,
Is this fantasy only, or are we talk 30k as well?
now we're talking everything.
It's life.
Yeah, unless I get to host something myself, so I can be in control.
Build it, and they will come.
Yeah. I've got some space. I could fit like if it's summer, I can fit like 4 tables at least on my porch.
Well, there you go. Just
Yeah.
make an event. Make it a thing.
Yeah, have
Porch hammer.
some pool party and 6th edition.
Oh, and some barbecue.
Yeah, why not? Let's
I
do
like
it.
the idea of this.
Yeah, just throw up an event on Facebook. People will come.
And maybe then I will have painted some more orcs, hopefully.
Yeah, you can make it a even sacking of Solad or something.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that.
Ooh.
Maybe I'll do that. Good idea.
Was the book that Forge was supposed to release that never got released was the Battle of Blackfire Pass, right? Which was like the 811th Battle for Black Pass or something. So it was set in the modern age of Warhammer, right?
Yeah. It was supposed to be where Karl Franz faces this great orc warlord.
Was that in the stories before they started writing this somewhere, or did they make up the story?
I don't know. I think it's. I know that in Total Warhammer 2 they talk about him not taking up Galmaras until he fights the orc war boss in the Blackfire Pass. But in the 6th edition Empire rulebook, there's a story about him fighting that orc boss at Blackfire Pass, and he has Galmaras. So I don't know what was in the even earlier fluff. I think it's been changed a few times. Even if maybe Total Warhammer 2 is not canon, they've at least changed the story a bit.
Marius Leitdorf, isn't he was he the Elector Count of
Everland?
Everland, okay.
Yeah, and he died like moments before Karl Franz arrived, or was it? He died before his army could arrive there.
Yeah.
So Karl Franz wasn't able to save him.
Yeah, I'm reading a book now. It's the book about the Empire banner bearer. What's his name?
Schwarzhelm?
Yeah.
Ludwig Schwarzhelm.
Yeah, sort of something. It's not a great book. That's why I can't remember anything about it. It's just, it really feels like they wrote this book to promote the new army book and the new model. Like,
if you want to read the Empire books, read the there's a collection omnibus of Empire stories. The first 2 books are pretty good. I couldn't get through the 3rd one.
Is it the Knights of the Empire?
No, I think it's just called Empire.
Hmm.
It's got a decent book about an engineer, and it's got a decent book about some halberdiers, and then it's got a pretty shitty book about a warrior priest. The first 2 ones
Warrior
are pretty
priests
good.
are cool.
Yeah, not this one.
Aww.
Or maybe it gets good. I couldn't get more than 10 pages in.
Little did you know that the book really started to get interesting.
Yeah, but I'll send a link. I've got the ebook version of it.
All right, nice. Yeah, I got recommended the Knights of the Empire as well. Apparently that's a good collection as well.
Yeah, and if you want some more Empire stuff and Kislev stuff, The Riders of the Dead is the pretty good one.
Yeah, still my favorite fantasy book.
They re-released Brunner now as well.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm actually gonna try to get into those series.
Have you not read it before?
No, I haven't.
Awesome, good for you, because that's like my favorite fantasy book. It is really good. So you follow
that as well.
You follow this bounty hunter that just travels around lots of places. So you see a lot of the world, and you see it from like one guy and not just like on a battlefield all the time. So it's really good. Really love it. Did read it when I was 17, so maybe my youthful mind
That's
made it
just
out to
last
be
year
better.
or something, right?
Pretty much. But yeah, I love those books. It's like 3 books, and that one omnibus. Great read. What other books have we read recently?
I've been going through the Gotrek and Felix books.
Yeah,
haven't
same.
Yeah, I haven't read them before, so it's an eye opener for me.
Yeah, same here. I finished reading the first 3 a while back, so I need to continue.
Yeah,
I
I'm
finished
on
reading.
Demon Slayer right now.
I finished
so good.
Demon Slayer like 2 weeks ago, and I'm thirsting for more.
Yeah.
I
What
started the audiobook, the new one, the Ghoul Slayer, and it's okay. I won't say more than that. It's not good. It's not bad. It's okay.
But that's set in Age of Sigmar, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No thanks.
Yeah. Do all the other Gotrek and Felix books first, and then maybe if you're still thirsty for more Gotrek, then you can look into that.
I think I'm just gonna try and read all the ones from the original author William King, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've heard that his books are the best, and then the rest are like okay afterwards, and then they just get worse. So I'm just gonna stick to the best stuff, because I ain't got time to read that many books. It just like takes a couple of weeks for me to read a book, and in that time I'd rather just read the best, because there are a lot of fantasy books out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Read
So,
something that's gonna be worthwhile at least.
Something that captures you. It's like I really love reading Demon Slayer, because when I was at the Ninja Sex Party, when they yeah, that sounds
no
wrong.
further explanation.
Yeah, which is a band. Look them up. It's like a comedy band. And when I was standing in line, I'm like, fuck this shit, I'm gonna continue reading. So I was standing in the line reading the book. It's like my phone is almost dead. I need to pass time somehow. So yeah, I started to read the book, and I finished it on the way home. It's like, yes, perfect ending.
Yeah.
True Gotrek.
So,
I'm just gonna say one thing. I'm not finished with you yet.
so Jens, do you finish this one as well?
No, I'm barely halfway through.
Well, I love it. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm plowing through them. I'll get through it this week probably.
Nice.
Then maybe we 3 can start reading the next book together.
Ooh,
Yeah.
a book! Yay!
Yay.
Book club.
I bet Chris has read all Gotrek and Felix books twice.
Most likely.
I will not take you up on that bet because I will lose money if I do.
Man,
All
this
right.
really sucks. I almost finished my Slayer. He's missing his right hand. Because I can't find a fucking right hand that's like clenching a fist. I have a lot of left hands doing that thing, but not any right hands.
Well, can't help you. Sorry. I am gluing the shields on right now. They're done. Painting all the runes.
Nice.
Takes a damn while to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna put the last wash on my night goblins and call it night.
Nice.
No pun intended.
Yeah, I just need to do one final gold highlight on the shields once they're glued on, and then there's nothing left to do but painting the rims of the base, and that's it. And then pack them, and then be ready for battle in 3 days.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun for you. You never said what runes you put on your characters.
Oh
You
yeah, do tell.
Maybe this probably won't be out until after. So on my engineer, he's got nothing because he's just there too. Yeah. So at first I was gonna give him the rune of the furnace, just if someone tries to snipe him with like a conflagration of doom or something. But then I thought, nah, I just have so much magic resistance anyway. So yeah, I got 2 runesmiths. One of them has got digging through that pile. Got to find that right hand.
Yeah. I'm still
So
listening.
One of them has got the Master Rune of Balance, best rune there ever was, which takes a power dice from your enemy and gives you another dispel dice.
Very useful.
Yeah. And the second runesmith has got the Spell Eater rune, which is like a dispel scroll.
Nom 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 nom.
But if you use it on a 4+, the wizard can't cast a spell again. Yeah, so it's pretty good against like if I ever come up against Comet of Cassandora or something.
Yeah.
And dispelling it first turn, and on a 4+, he can't try it again, saving my precious slow dwarf line. And they both got shields and Rune of Stone, so they got a 1+ armor saving close combat. And yeah, that's the runes they got. And then the War Machines, both the Stone Throwers have got the Rune of Accuracy and Penetrating. One of them has got like a Flaming Rune, and one of the Bolt Throwers he got +1 Strength. So the first games I played, I had the other Bolt Thrower +1 Strength and like a 2+ to hit once per game, instead of giving the second Stone Thrower some runes. But after playing those 2 games, I realized that Stone Throwers is where it's at. You need to boost them because they are
very
really
useful.
devastating.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you get a solid hit against a unit of Spearmen, it's a lot of Spearmen dead. And +1 Strength is so good because you go up to Strength 5, so it's 2s to hit, to wound instead of 3s. And that goes for Knights as well. And it's no armor save under the entire template to use nuking Knights.
Good night.
Yeah, pun intended there as well. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to have another test game on Saturday, so the day before. So we're going to try that, the banner scenario.
Cool. Oh, do you have any magic banners in your army?
Oh, yeah. The Ironbreakers have got the Rune of Battle, so it's just +1 to combat resolution. The dwarves have a lot of cool banner runes, but most of them are at like 60 points or above, so you can't really take them on any units.
So you need a BSB.
Yeah, like even the rune that makes a unit stubborn is 60 points, and the point limit is 50 points for any unit you can take a runic banner.
Yeah.
So you can never take it unless you have a battle standard bearer to just get stubborn, which is like, well, it's a bit pointless when I can take a better rune. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to trying out the War of the Beer list, where they increase the rune limit. Okay, I think do we have anything else to talk about?
Nope.
All right. Well, it's been a nice general fantasy chat while we all hobby away. It's always nice to have like a solid theme to talk about. It's also nice to just talk about what we're doing in fantasy right now.
Getting stuff done.
Brothers and sisters, with me. For Ulthuan, for the Phoenix Throne, for the Everqueen and for Asuryan. Renee, formerly Tul'Aris fan number 1, professing his true allegiance. November 19th, 2019.
So we have lost a Jens, but we have gained a Chris.
Woo!
Yay.
Totally a downgrade.
To be honest, this one is nicer. He doesn't call me things, and he doesn't talk about griffin balls all the time.
Oh dear. Given that I haven't listened to the previous section, I fear how much I have to edit this one. Or there's also always the useful, it hasn't been edited properly. Just be advised. Yeah, we're gonna go with that one, I think.
Yeah, so what a weekend. We recorded the first part on Thursday, I think.
Yeah.
The same day that they did the teaser for the everything comes around even squares. And we were just talking like, oh, what can this be? Will it just be like round, square to round converters? And how wrong were we?
Yeah, at least I know that we had in chat, we talked about how good it would be just to have a small limited print run of square bases of different sizes that you could buy.
Yeah.
To be fair, that would still be good.
Yeah, so our expectations were pretty low.
Yeah.
And what we got changes everything. I mean, we're bringing back the game that we love in a while.
Yeah, like 2 to 3 or maybe more years, but hey, it's coming back.
Yeah.
It's a quote, not soon.
Yeah, I for one, I'm pretty glad that it's gonna be a while, because a lot of people here have started playing 6th edition again, and like we really got a thing going. And if they would have dropped like, oh, this Christmas, Rob Schneider is Sigma, it would have been.
That wouldn't be his worst role.
It would have been a lot to wrap your head around, and like I got this thing planned for January. There's several events planned for next year. So now, like I feel like people are gonna have time to really explore the old editions before the new one comes out. I'm really glad. I do know that like a lot of people are like, give it to me now. Just bring it out tomorrow.
It's
And
like an avocado. You need to wait for it to be ripe to enjoy it.
And then you have to catch it in that exact moment when it's perfect, or it's
Yeah.
just overripe and it starts to go brown.
And then with guac, it's gonna be bad.
yeah, so what? They're gonna wait like 7 years, and everyone will be screaming at them, "Bring it out!" And then it's just an overripe game.
And then they just have a quote that is basically, "Don't you guys have phones?" Because that was the feeling I had before when we just posted a trailer, that it could just be like the Diablo Immortal announcement at BlizzCon last year. You think
I didn't see that.
it was basically, "Oh, this is the game you have been waiting for," and they started teasing with the Diablo trailer, and then it turns out it's a mobile game.
Oh yeah.
That's basically just a reskin of a game that already exists.
Yeah, maybe it's just a Total War 3 ad, and then
Oh no, it's just literally Stormcast on Square basis.
yeah. I'm very optimistic though. It's
I
gonna
think we
be
all
fun to
are.
see. Yeah, I think talking to some people are like pretty skeptical towards Games Workshop, and with all right. I mean, they did destroy it in the first place.
Yeah.
It's gonna be some very interesting years, and feels a bit like it's gonna change the podcast. It's gonna be like everything we do will be kind of in the lead up to the re-release.
Yeah.
Episode 33, it's still not here.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. A lot of people are excited for fantasy now as well. Like you could see, like the activity online was just insane. Like there are posts every second. It felt like. So yeah, nice to see, and probably there's gonna be a lot more interest in the old editions now as well. Like people want to get back in the game. You can see that as well in different like Facebook groups that people were just talking about fantasy in general, and like now is to get an army done and play the old editions so they can use it in the new editions probably.
Yeah, I think the model support is what people are really looking forward to as well.
Yeah,
because even if against all odds the new edition isn't for everyone, you can still play your favorite edition. I'm just saying that. I hope it's a good edition.
Yeah, it's Games Workshop have always like their strong suit has always been their models and their lore. Like the
but isn't it like every other edition is the bad one in fantasy? And fourth was really played, 6 was really played, and 8 was really played. So
yeah, pretty much.
Let's hope they break that little jinx.
Yeah, well, Age of Sigmar, you could say that was
the
edition
to
after.
be fair, that's on a second edition because the first one wasn't good. Because it wasn't an edition; it was just a pamphlet. I really hope that take this time and really work through it. Looks what can be updated, what can be kept from the old editions, because there's some archaic stuff that might be possible to take out of the game without ruining the feel of it all, hopefully.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. Now it's a fresh start as well, because before they always kind of advance the rules a bit, but now they really have a clean slate to just do anything, really.
Yeah.
It's going to be very interesting. What do you guys think? Like, when will it be set? Will it be set in the age of Karl Franz, or will they change the timeline? Since they're already doing it as like an historical game.
Well, it won't be, hopefully. Because I said it would be to Age of Sigmar what the Heresy was to 40k.
Yeah.
And that would be the end times if they go literally with that.
Yeah.
I don't hope it's that.
Because that's when all the stories came together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was when the old world ended and the new worlds began.
Yeah, I was thinking like all the characters were in that though. Like if you really wanted to tie it in with Sigmar, like Nagash came back and
but if they're gonna do that, they could just put it in the mortal realms during the first Realm Gate wars when Sigmar and the other gods were forming the new universe, basically. Because those are also as the Time of Legends in the Age of Sigmar universe, which is the first Grand Wars and all of that. But I don't think they're gonna do that because I said it was been in the old world after all.
Yeah, like they can't back out now. Imagine they're like, oh yeah, we're bringing back fantasy or whatever, and then they just bring out like that war. That is pretty much Age of Sigmar. That would be there would be riots. Riots in Nottingham.
If they would want to set it in one of the bleaker eras, it could be set up before one of the larger Chaos incursions.
Yeah, I would love for them to do it in during Magnus the Pious. That would be my favorite.
Yeah.
So for those that don't know about that time period, so now it's 25 something with Karl Franz.
25, 20 something. I don't know.
And Magnus the Pious was around 2302, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 200 years before.
Yeah, so that was the Great War Against Chaos. So the empire was split up during the Age of the Three Emperors, which most often was more than three contenders to the throne of the empire.
Yeah.
And no one was working together. And then Asvar Kul attacked from the north. So he was the ever chosen of that time, the predecessor to Archaon. So there have been several throughout the ages.
Yeah.
And he just went rampaging through Kislev. And he's the guy who fucked up Prague and just made people fuse with the walls and stuff like that.
But that's also there where some accounts say that the Norse god dwarfs were destroyed, or just depending on which book you read. In one of them they're destroyed, as we talked about in the dwarf episode, and in other ones they're still there. So you could possibly include more stories about those clans and stuff when you do. The only thing that wouldn't make sense is the involvement of some of the other races. But if they do it heresy style, it will be several campaign books and not just one. And that would also make sense if they either do it like highlights from the history, like a War of the Beard book, or.
Yeah, but I mean, in the like 6th edition setting, like you have Storm of Chaos, but the entire edition isn't focused on that as well.
No. I was saying that if they were going to do it in a heresy style, it could be you have an overarching plot line in one of these Chaos incursions, or you could do it like highlights from the history. And I hope it's more of an overarching tied together story than highlights of the past.
Yeah, so as some, hopefully all of you know, all of us play Heresy as well, and we're really keen on the kind of campaign style books that they made. And I know, like, I think most people that played fantasy before and haven't really dabbled in Horse Heresy are skeptical towards if Forgeworld would take charge of this. But as to play Heresy, I think are really excited about the prospect because they've done an amazing job with Horus Heresy.
The announcement did say the Warhammer Studio, though, or a team in the Warhammer Studio.
No, right.
So it's probably still specialist games, but it's not Forgeworld proper. How all of this is organized, on the other hand, it's probably needs like a dark room and a wall just filled with papers and red string to figure out who's doing what.
I wonder how many people they have and who's there. Like if there are any writers that you
it's just Dave, and he has 18 projects.
And I would love if they would just rehire Pyrenean for this. That would be the ultimate dream.
I would love that if they just reached out to the community at large and just asked people what they would want from this game. Because if they just ask a few people, we might end up with a tournament game, or might end up with a game that is not really set in a way that people want, that people really prefer to play.
Yeah, I think they're going to go with the same kind of thing they did with Age of Sigmar, 40k and things. Narrative, open play, and match play.
So they basically going to talk to tournament players and do a narrative game?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so it won't be playable, you mean? And I thought I was the negative one here.
You still are. Don't worry.
Yay!
I think it's very early still to have any kind of.
I just hope they reach out to the community and see what people want, because that's really good for the community.
Yeah, I think they've done a really good job with games in general recently. Like Necromunda has been really good. Depths Titanicus is really good. Aeronautica is really good. They're on a good streak.
They're on a roll.
So something tells me that there's a Battlefleet fleet game in between us and Warhammer at this point as well.
Could be, definitely.
They have talked about it, after all.
Yeah.
With the kind of a similar timeline, like sometime in the future.
Yeah. And other cool time periods that you guys would like to see?
Just on a note on the Great War Against Chaos with Magnus the Pious, that would be a cool time setting, because that's when the College of Magic was formed as well.
Yeah, that would be the ultimate setting. The thing, like I was thinking, War of the Bear would be awesome, and just like when Sigmar was around would be incredible. But
the first Battle Blackfire.
I was thinking it would be strange though if they would reintroduce Warhammer without both the Empire and Britannia, like any of the humans that the world is kind of centered around.
Yeah. Oh, do you think they would bring back Kislev and like things in Dogs of War, like Estalians, Talians, and everything.
If it's set during the Great War Against Chaos, then they have to bring out Kislev. That you can't have the Siege of Kislev without Kislev.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be really excited for that.
Well, that's the thing that would be good to have like a storyline leading up to a large event. Like the Heresy has always been leading up to the end of the Heresy and the battle, Siege of Terra. So they could lead up like the years before all of the minor skirmishes and all of the later major battles in the story.
Yeah, and the Siege of Prague is like it's on 5.
Yeah. Yeah, that was because if they make a lead up, they could also make sense to actually do something with all of the other races that weren't that just a few battles in Kislev. There were There were 3 or 4 elves in Kislev at that time. I mean, that wouldn't make for a good elf contribution.
Yeah, just have them fight Dark Elves, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Because they were fighting the Dark Elves. Teklis just ran away with his mates and formed the College of Magic and burned Chaos guys to crisp.
Yeah, that would be my favorite time period, I think. And then you could also have like, you still have Teklis and his brother
Tyrion.
Yeah, Tyrion. And you can have Thorgrim when he's young, because I think, wasn't he there as well?
Yeah, it was. He became king right before that, I think. Or did he fight in that battle with the Norsca dwarves?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
After that, he became the High King.
Yeah, it depends on which of the books you read.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, because on that point, because the Evershires at that time did lay siege to Krakadrak and the other strongholds, after all.
Yeah, and for those wondering who the hell he is, really, Engrad, there was Asvar Cool and Engrad Deathblade, and Engrad Deathblade is like his second in command, and he's the badass Chaos Warrior standing with the most badass armor and 2 hand weapons and like this orange background. He's the guy, if you've seen this guy who made a crazy tattoo on his entire back, it's that guy. Most badass Chaos champion ever. But I would really like to have a War of Vengeance as well. That would be sweet if they release something like that as well. But I think it would be a bit spread out if they would release a bunch of different time periods.
Yeah, also a pure War of Vengeance time setting would be quite limited to what you could include in your armies. well, not include in your armies, but which armies you could include. That's the proper way to phrase it. So you could have dwarves or high elves or like 15 to 20 dark elves and some trees.
Don't forget the greenskins, the innumerable greenskins.
But they weren't fighting in that war.
I know.
Oh,
but they were fighting each other. They're always fighting each other.
Yeah, but that would be quite interesting setting because then you could have, that would be a perfect setting for War Master, or not Warhammer, actually.
That is true. And Chris, we used to have to start War Master armies and have a massive War of the Beard.
So what you're saying is that we really should start a War Master podcast and see if that will trigger G-dubs to pick up the interest to make a new game?
Exactly. That's the next step.
It is a fun strategic game, though, but it is a bit even more abstract than regular fantasy.
Yeah, keep hearing it's great. Need to try it someday. All right, do we have anything more to say about the great news?
Well, we can actually include another news item here, since I think we've talked about this for more time than we actually had to talk about it, because we've included a lot more than we actually had to go on. But Troll Slayer is available as an audiobook.
Oh, nice.
What?
Yes, it was in one of the Warhammer community posts.
Say what? I totally missed this.
Is that the which one?
It was in the pre-order preview, Inquisitors Made to Ordo. At the very end, there is a Warhammer Chronicles Troll Slayer Limited Edition 20th Anniversary Edition and an audiobook announcement.
Which book in the series is that?
Troll Slayer, the first one.
Ah, all right.
That's a good one to start with, because the other one is a Ghoul Slayer.
So hopefully they'll bring out all of the Slayer books as audiobooks.
It would make sense.
Yeah,
if they're gonna do a ramp up to new edition.
I don't mind reading the Slayer books. I'm a slow reader because I find a hard time getting time to read books. But I recently got back into reading the Gotrek Felix novels. I don't have a problem with it, but I know a lot of my friends, they don't have times at all to read because they're parents.
Yeah.
They have limited hobby time.
I know
So
that feeling, but I'm just a student, so I don't have that
yeah.
much time to read other stuff than school books, after all. But just mention that they do have the nice Inquisitor models, the ones from the Witch Hunter book, basically.
They're perfect to build witch hunters to more time with.
Yeah,
I know this.
that
I
was
have spoken.
that was kind of where I was going.
Anything can be made into a warband by Jimmy.
So they have. So the most important thing is they do have the Archconfessor Kirinov as the Maid's Order, because he's the only one basically not in power armor.
All right. Great news all around.
Yeah.
So, should we move on?
Yes. I heard you went to a tournament, Niklas.
Yes.
Tell us
So-
about it.
Yeah, so we talked about this in the previous section of the episode. That I was going to this tournament, and the day before I went up to Joseph's place, and we had a test game, the final test game before the tournament, and we tried one of the scenarios, the one with the flags, and I was totally demolished. I lost so hard. My artillery did nothing. They killed more dwarves than humans, and by more I say 3 dwarves and 0 humans. It was unbelievable. So in scattered once, when I had like a perfect hit, and then scattered into a combat. And when you hit a combat and hit models that are in base to base with an enemy, you need to randomize who you hit. And of course, all of the randomization hits went on my dwarves and killed all of them. And it was just a total defeat. I think it was barely, not a massacre, but it was a total defeat. So it's like, shit, how is this going to go tomorrow? I hope I used all of my bad luck now. And then we got up early and went over to Bedworth, which is north of Coventry in the Midlands, I think. And it's a really nice gaming club, nice venue. They had a really nice bar downstairs, really good price on beer, so that was awesome. Which is something you rarely find in Sweden. And then we got on with the first game, which was the capture scenario. And as I said before, you don't automatically win if you hold the objective. You just get 500 extra victory points. So I was up against a Beastman army, played by a lovely guy named Nick. It's a very min-heavy Beastman army. So he had 3 units of 4 Minotaurs, with a Doom Bull in one of them. And he had like a 20-man Bestigor unit with a Shaman and a Wargore. And he had another lone Shaman. And then he had 2 chariots, 1 mixed herd, 2 units of 5 Warhounds, and 5 Centigores.
Do you remember, did he use the Warhounds from that book, or did he use them from the Warriors of Chaos army book? Because they are different.
I'm pretty sure he used the ones from the Beastman book.
Yeah, because the Beastman ones are not fast cavalry.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's how they differ.
All right, I thought they both were, but yeah. So they have ambush in the Beastman book.
Yeah,
So
exactly. That's the difference. And yeah, they can rank because they're like hunting in tighter packs.
Oh, that's really cool. Didn't
Yeah.
know that. Yeah. Okay. So I deployed my army pretty compact. Iron Breakers in the middle, take the objective. Warriors on either side. The war machines on the right side. They were a bit exposed, so he deployed his from left to right. Unit of Minotaurs, a chariot, and Warhounds. And in the middle, he had a unit of Minotaurs with the Doom Bull, his Bestigors, and his mixed herd, and a chariot. It's a pretty punchy middle. And to the right, he had a unit of Minotaur, his lone Shaman, Centigores, and Warhounds. So I think he was trying to attack my war machines that are pretty lonely on the right side. So when I deployed my rangers as scouts, I deployed them on the right side to defend them on a hill.
Have you gone over what you had in your army? Did you do
Yes,
it?
yeah, we did that in the previous section, but I'll run through it quickly. 20 Iron Breakers, 2 times 20 warriors with great weapons and shields, 2 ballistas, 2 bolt throwers, stone throwers, 2 runesmiths, master engineer, 20 miners, and 10 rangers. So I got first turn, and my Iron Breakers just marched up to the objective, and their goal was just to sit there and just hold it the entire game. And my Stone Thrower did pretty well, just hurting his Bestigor units. And my Bolt Thrower, that's been upgraded to Strength 7, just instantly demolished a Chariot in turn 1, which was pretty satisfying.
Yeah, and you know what I think about those Strength 7 bolt throwers? I freaking hate them.
Oh, they're so good.
There's a reason I don't feel the chariots anymore.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be using that much Strength 7 bolt throwers after this, though. Because I found out also that bolt throwers ignore armor saves. I thought that they used modified armor save depending on their strength. That's one of the reasons I upgraded to Strength 7, but apparently you used to ignore it.
Oh, so you upgraded it for wrong reasons. You think that makes it okay? You chariot killer, man.
On the right side, my Rangers also kill like 2 Senegors, I think, just withering them down a bit. And my Warriors on the left side advanced up a bit as well. And then it was his turn. We started, I think, 15 inches apart from each other, not 24, so we were pretty close. So in his turn, on the left side, he charged my Warriors with his Chariot and did like 7 impact hits, killed 2 or 3, but then he bounced because of Combat Resolution anyway. He advanced up in the middle with his mixed herd, and they were kind of blocking the way for his Bestigors. And on my turn, my miners arrived, so they arrived behind his center in like a perfect position. And my shooting phase was really good this turn. So one of my bolt throwers shot the Minotaurs on the right side, killed one of them, and made them flee. And the stone throwers just hammered the Bestigors in the middle and withered them down to maybe 12 guys. It was incredible. And then on his left, so on his turn, he charged me on his left side with some Warhounds, my Warriors, and my Warriors won it. And then they overran into his Minotaurs, so they got the charge next turn. And what basically happened was my left side just ran through his units there. And on the right side, he was fleeing. His Warhounds fled after being shot by Rangers. And in the middle, my Miners eventually charged against his Bestigors. They were so withered down from artillery fire that they just ran straight through it into the flank of his Minotaur and Doombull unit, and just broke them as well. So everything is went to plan, and in the end, I won by a lot. Like, I didn't take any full losses. I took some losses in almost each unit, but none of them were even like half taken. So I won by 2,755 points to 0. So that's like the best result I have ever had, and probably will ever have in a Warhammer game.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it went like super well. Like everything I tried worked. So I was like at the complete opposite of what happened the day before. And then my second game was against Vampire Counts. It was a very odd Vampire Counts army. He had 3 units of 5 ghouls and like a 30 or 35 unit of Graveguard, the old model. So it was really cool. And then he had Blood Dragon on a Zombie Dragon, and a Banshee on Spirit Host, a Black Coach, and a White on a horse that was ethereal and caused terror. So there's a lot of terror causing units and fear causing units, of course, but like no skeleton warriors and no zombies, like nothing to resurrect. So I was a bit like shocked and like hadn't really seen this kind of army before. And in this game, a lot of things went wrong instead. So my war machines misfired a lot and really didn't do any damage. Didn't manage to stop the Black Coach before it hit home. And his zombie dragon just flew onto my lines and started scaring shit. So first he scared a unit of warriors that fled. And then the next turn, they failed to regroup and ran off the table. And they were at full strength. And then he attacked my Iron Breakers with Spirit Hosts, and eventually my Iron Breakers withered them down and I think they'd taken 1 loss. And then he flew in with his dragon, and they failed their leadership and eventually fled off the board. And he attacked my war machines with just smaller units that I really couldn't take care of because I had to guard against this Graveguard, and my other 2 combat units had fled off the board. So that was a total massacre. He massacred me. There was like 1 shot at the end where my Stone Thrower could assassinate his vampire general that had a 3+ ward against shooting. So I hit it bang on. I wounded him. He failed his 3+ ward save, and then I rolled 2 wounds. So I could have taken home a lot of points there, but it would still have been a major defeat. Yeah, it was very cool playing that very different Vampire Count army though.
Yeah, I mean, it's like not your typical Vampire Count's army.
Yeah, you just expect this like endless horde of the dead, but this is like a very small, elite, and fast-moving army.
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty hard to defend yourself as a dwarf against that, because you're good at just taking on big blocks of stuff and just counting on combat resolution. But when you have stuff like slinking through your lines, attacking your war machines, and attacking you in the rear, that's when it starts to get dangerous.
Exit only.
Yeah. And then the final game was against Tim that I played in the Bringing Back 6th edition event as well, when I played my Kislev against his High Elves, and he won that game. And now he brought dwarves, and he brought dwarves using the newer book from 6th edition. So there's been quite a debate online whether which one is the true book.
Well, both of them.
Yeah, pretty much. We discussed this in the dwarf episode, and both are equally viable. And there's some slight changes, but they're both fine. And yeah, it was a lot of fun to have like this dwarf showdown to like decide which book was better. But we've been talking before the game and just looking at our armies, and both of us concluded like my army has more long range shooting and would probably win if we played. And then we ended up playing the last game, and what happened was I had more long range shooting and I won, because we deployed, and he was like, oh wait, you got more shooting than me, so I'm gonna have to advance. I was like, yep. He's like, okay, I'm not really used to that as a dwarf player. And then he just marched up slowly, 6 inches per turn, and got shot off. Like I was really accurate with my stone throwers, and they just demolished his units. Yeah, it was not a pretty sight. I felt pretty bad, because it was like, when I'm facing an army that is aggressive and runs towards you and that's their job, then it doesn't feel that bad having shooting. But when you're playing as something that is not meant to walk forward, and just shooting them off, didn't feel that good. Especially when it's like your fellow dwarves. It was nice to settle though that old is best and wisest.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
It's like, yeah, it's like the contrast between your armies. He's using newer units, and you're going with all the classic War of the Beard ones. And he's using the new army list, and you're using the old. It's a great contrast. And I'm really happy that your army is the one that came out the strongest.
Yeah. I think it's good for his argument as well to use the newer book. Like, look, it's not that strong. But his army consisted of an Anvil of Doom, a flame cannon, a bolt thrower, a unit of longbeards, a unit of warriors, unit of miners, a gyrocopter, slayers, and thunderers. So it's a very varied list. Worked very well if you don't face a long-range dwarf gun line. And the thing that I totally forgot that really could have swung the game was he came on with his miners, and then was like, oh yeah, and I'm using the rune that allows you to move a unit so they can charge into your flank. So I totally forgot that, and I hadn't turned my Ironbreakers so they could take a charge from miners. So I expected, oh yeah, they'll just have a turn to turn around. But then, yeah, he said, oh yeah, I'm going to charge you in the flank now. Like, holy shit, he's going to roll up my entire flank. And he had to roll a 2+, and he rolled a 1. So that really saved the game as well. But it's great playing Tim. And as I said, he played High Elves. So we discussed playing some War of the Beard, War of Vengeance, which would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was it. So there were 3 games, and I had 1 massacre, 1 total defeat, and a solid victory. Oh yeah, there were 12 players there as well. There should have been 16, but we had some dropouts at the end. And in the end, I got best painted and 2nd place.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really happy about best painted because, as you know, I've been painting dwarves like crazy lately.
Yeah.
And it felt really worth it in the end.
What was the overall painting quality? Did everyone come fully painted, or?
Yeah, there were a couple that got minus points for not having completely painted armies or not completely based armies. Actually, Joseph, that organized the Bringing Back 6th edition, got some minus points for not having based this army. So he should actually have gotten 2nd place, but he got minus points that knocked him down to 4th place. So I kind of stole 2nd place from him. But
It sounds like he had it coming if he didn't base his army, right?
yeah, hopefully that will encourage people to.
Yeah, but it's
their
good
arms more.
that it's just slightly penalized and not just outright banned.
Yeah, I think it was fair, and he knows that he played well, at least. He didn't get the trophy. Yeah, so that was it. It's a great day. Really fun playing dwarves. I think next event though, I'm gonna play Kislev. Especially like the last victory, it felt like I didn't win, my opponent lost. But when you play Kislev and you win, you really win because you have to take it from the enemy. You can't just sit there.
I know exactly that feeling because I play a mono night goblin list.
Yeah.
One day I'll learn how winning a game feels like.
Well, you need to paint up your shit.
I am currently painting, so that's why I've been silent
So
when you've
am
been
I actually
presenting
finished the
your
model.
event.
Awesome. Yeah, you need to post some pictures of your reavers, Chris. They look awesome so far.
Yeah, they're almost done as well, this unit, which is well, it will be the first finished unit of my army properly, because I got eagles as well, but eagles aren't really a unit that is fun to paint.
Oh, they count. Yeah, I'm also painting right now. I'm painting up the very last models for my Kislev army, pretty much. So I think there's 3 events so far organized for next year. So we're organizing the Albion thing in January. That I think is full now, actually.
Oh.
And then there's I'm organizing the 1,000 point thing in February, and then there's another 2,000 point tournament in March. And I think I'm gonna bring Kislev for a thing in March. So there's also no named characters allowed. So I'm just gonna have to bite the bullet and just take all the magic because I won't have any magic defense. Just good old 2 dice dispel. And yeah, also I'm left for my dwarves to paint. I still got 20 slayers, my Anvil of Doom that I'm really excited painting, and some characters. Still got some stuff to make for them. Yeah, that's what I had about what I've been up to.
Cool.
Nice. So maybe we should round off out for this time, pretty much. Or do we have anything else? Well, I have one more thing, and that is if anyone has, because I'm going to post this on Instagram and Facebook and all of the usual places, but if anyone have a question for, well, you remember last year we did a Opposita Kväll episode, basically, well, not that monitored, so to speak. Not that. Yeah, there were actually stuff cut out of that episode, and if you have listened to it, there's a surprise perhaps. But I want questions from listeners for our next one, because we are going to try to find time to make a new one this year. So questions, basically any question that you want to have answered, even if it's maybe not hobby related, just any question that you want answered that we in some way can answer. So probably not the solution to Brexit. I'm sorry, the British government, we can't solve it for you. But you seem to be in a bit of a trouble about this. But as I said, any question, if we're going to answer them or not, that's what we will see or listen here in the Christmas episode. But send them in.
We'll try and get Jens on to answer any Griffin Ball related questions as well.
Yeah, any ball related questions. Send them in.
And in advance, we excuse for all the static noises you will hear.
Yeah, that has been a quite useful tool, just adding static noise. Yeah,
all right.
That's it then.
Yeah, looking forward to that special. It's always nice to sit down and hobby and chat. It's pretty much what we've done this episode, though.
Yeah, at least it's recording. I can't answer for the early one.
All right, then. We're done.
Yep.
Yeah.
So see you guys in the next episode.
Remember, stay square.